So today is 25th Feb. It's 3 p.m. right now. I was supposed to be giving my exam, quiz 1, but here I am. So let's not have a guilt of it and get straight into some productive things. We will cover poverty today, poverty commissions, and this for Indian economy. I'm going to start the playlist of Indian economy with poverty estimation because it's static. Budgets change every year, and surveys change every year, but the poverty commissions stay the same, and it is one of the important aspect of static Indian economy. So I've taken this PDF from TIS, and it's a really good source. I don't mean to have any copyright claim on this, so for your knowledge, I am just using this for my own study. I am not using this material for um, monetary purposes, so no infringement is intended. Starting with poverty estimation in India, I believe that poverty is still a great challenge in India because of the heavily dense population. Right now, if you see, the one ministry that is working for poverty estimation is Niti Aayog, which used to be the Planning Commission, and poverty line calculation. How do we define, or how do we calculate that one person is in poverty? It is poverty estimation in India is carried out by Niti Aayog's task force through the calculation of poverty line based on the data captured by National Sample Survey Office. Alright. Consumption versus income level. Poverty line estimation is based on the consumption expenditure and not on the income levels. Why is that? Because variation in income and additional income is difficult to take into account, and data collection. Tracing incomes is not easy, whereas tracing consumption is easier. Poverty ratio is the proportion of population below the poverty line is head count ratio. Okay. Impact of welfare schemes. Important for academic purposes, is also crucial for to track the impact and success of various government policies. It is also a UN SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, of eradication of poverty. UN SDG for poverty. Goal 1 is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Right. How do we measure poverty? Absolute poverty, poverty threshold, and otherwise. Absolute poverty is a condition characterized by severe deprivation of basic human needs. It also depends on the access of social services. Poverty threshold. Poverty threshold is an absolute measurement of poverty is set using the monetary value of the basket of essential products. There is absolute measurement of poverty, and then there's relative measurement of poverty. Relative is present when a household income is lower than the median income in a particular country. Collection methods, data collection methods, uniform resource period up until 1993. Asking people about their consumption expenditure. Mixed reference period. 5 low frequency items: clothing, footwear, durables, education, and institutional health over the previous year, and all other items over the previous 30 days. प्री इंडिपेंडेंस पॉवर्टी एस्टिमेशन. इंडिपेंडेंस से पहले की बात हो रही है. नेशनल प्लानिंग कमेटी, बॉम्बे प्लान एंड दादाभाई नारावजी. कॉस्ट ऑफ subsistence or minimum basic diet. Post independence poverty estimation. V.M. Dandekar and Enrath were the first ones to introduce poverty line derived from the expenditure that was adequate to calories in both rural and urban. Expenditure based poverty line estimation generated debate on minimum calorie consumption norms. Alak Committee, nutritional requirements and related consumption expenditure. They adjusted the prices related to inflation. Lagdawala Committee, task force chaired by D.T. Lagdawala. Consumption basket of goods calculated CPI. Industrial workers and CPI agricultural laborers reflect the consumption patterns of poor. Calorie consumption and state specific poverty lines, and discontinuation of scaling based on national accounts. Then comes the Tendulkar Committee. It was Suresh Tendulkar. Expert group constituted by Planning Commission. A review methodology for poverty estimation and address the following shortcomings of the previous methods. Obsolete consumption pattern. Whereas there were significant changes in the consumption patterns of the poor since that time, which were not reflected in the poverty estimates. Inflation adjustments. There were issues with the adjustment of prices, health and education expenditure. Recommendation: shift from calorie consumption based poverty estimation. It based its calculation on the consumption of items like cereal, pulses. Uniform poverty line, like Alak Committee, which relied separate for PLB for rural and urban. computed new poverty lines for rural and urban areas of each state. Private expenditure, health and education, price adjustment procedure. Tendulkar Committee computed poverty lines for 2004 to 5 at a level that was equivalent in purchasing power parity. Then comes Rangarajan Committee. Set up in the backdrop of national outrage over the Planning Commission suggested poverty line of 22 rupees a day for rural areas. International poverty estimations and indicate whether based on these can be developed for India. Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. Independent large service normative and behavioral level. Then again they came on to calories. Poverty threshold, person spending 47 below and 32 in villages considered poor. Modified mixed reference period. Redefining poverty lines have to be recalibrated. Viable basic necessities, hybrid of absolute and relative measurement of poverty.